Wicked for Good. As within a review, this may contain spoilers. In this review, I'm first going to cover Wicked for Good, and then I'm going to go over Wicked as a whole. Wicked for Good is the final chapter to last year's Wicked. This continues the untold story of the Witches of Oz, Elphaba and Glinda, and their strange friendship as they live with the consequences of their choices from part 1. Elphaba, played by Cynthia Erivo, has been demonized as the evil wicked witch of the West and lives in the forest. She continues to fight for the rights and freedom of the animals and seeks to expose the truth about the wizard, played by Goldblum. Glinda, played by Ariana Grande, lives at the palace in Emerald City and has been positioned by the wizard and Madame Morrible, played by Michelle Yeoh, as the symbol of goodness for all of Oz. I had my fair share of issues with Wicked, but compared to Wicked for Good, I enjoyed part 1 more than this one. My biggest issue with Wicked for Good is that it moved at a blistering pace. There was no time to sit with any of the emotional storylines, which made everything feel skin deep, and any emotional weight was non-existent. This was best exemplified at the scene of the wreckage that took the life of Elphaba's sister Nessa. Instead of getting a heartbroken Elphaba and sitting with that emotion, we get Elphaba who is upset with Glinda for giving away Nessa's shoes to Dorothy. I'm not saying that shouldn't have happened, but first we need a moment with Elphaba and all the emotions that come from losing his sister, regret of how their last interaction ended, and the guilt of not being able to save her sister. All of that was undercut by how quickly the story moved along. As far as Wicked as a whole, I can't help but feel the story was compromised by The Wizard of Oz. I'm sure that to many, Wicked not only complements the story of The Wizard of Oz, but enhances it as well. Getting the backstory of Elphaba, Glinda, the Wizard, and others does enhance the story of The Wizard of Oz, and that's part of the reason why I enjoyed part 1 more than part 2 of Wicked. Part 2 is much more confined to the story of The Wizard of Oz. You can be more original in part 1, but in part 2, it's more of an adjacent story to The Wizard of Oz, and you're bound to that narrative more than in part 1. When you start from the premise of The Wizard of Oz, you're beholden to that, and there's only so much you can do without rewriting the history of The Wizard of Oz. I don't believe some of the actions in Wicked would have happened if it weren't for The Wizard of Oz. One thing that Wicked did do that sort of rewrote what happened in The Wizard of Oz is the Tin Man and Scarecrow. From what I remember, wasn't the Tin Man a jolly fellow in The Wizard of Oz? In Wicked, he's angry at Elphaba because he no longer has a heart. As far as the Scarecrow, Prince Fiyero, played by Jonathan Bailey, is turned into a scarecrow from a spell that Elphaba cast. He joins Dorothy in her quest, just as in The Wizard of Oz. However, we don't get any details of why he joins Dorothy. Hell, we only see 1 or 2 scenes of him with Dorothy, and all the shots are from a distance. This was a missed opportunity to expand and enhance the story from The Wizard of Oz without rewriting the character. Give a quick explanation as to why the Scarecrow would join Dorothy. In The Wizard of Oz, the Scarecrow wants a brain. He's not the sharpest tool in the shed. What they could have done in Wicked was have him play dumb to infiltrate the Emerald City and gain access to the wizard in order to gain information or relay information to Glinda. At least something to that effect. Give the Scarecrow a mission that helps Elphaba, the woman he loves. That being said, the best example of an action in Wicked that I don't believe would have happened if not for The Wizard of Oz comes from a conversation between Elphaba and Glinda. I'm going to paraphrase because I can't remember the exact details, but essentially, Glinda wants Elphaba to come with her, and together they will explain everything to the people of Oz, all that has been going on to clear Elphaba's name. Elphaba refuses because she doesn't want the people to turn against Glinda. She tells Glinda, and this is where I'm going to paraphrase, that the people need someone wicked. You just know that if we didn't have the story of The Wizard of Oz, this would have ended with Elphaba and Glinda showing the people of Oz proof that the true wicked were Madame Morrible and the wizard. They would show that the wizard was a fake, a con man with no magical powers, and that Madame Morrible created the tornado that took a house to fatally crush Elphaba's sister Nessa. This will clear Elphaba's name and they would rule Oz together. I may not have liked part 2 as much as part 1, but that doesn't mean you wouldn't, and it may be worth watching. So those were my thoughts. What did you think of the movie? Leave a comment down below, subscribe, give the video a like, and see you in the next review.